at this piece of art. So last week I went to this greenhouse gas removal event. Saw these piece of arts. They were really, really beautiful and it turned out to be biochar sculpture. I thought it's some kind of special materials. No, it's just paper and origami and roses themselves, the organic objects.
These are just trial pieces using different materials. So this has got like a glue type material with graphite added in and metal composites to hold.
What if paper can actually survive fire? The secret is there's no oxygen in this process of pyrolysis.
It was the first time I'd used the big one. And it's like, oh, it's getting hot. So any organic material, hence the rose, can be turned, the higher the temperature, the more open spaces that the biochar has. If you were using it as greenhouse gas removal material, the more potential it has to hold if it's going in soil, nutrients or water.
This is a special episode on Bite-Sized Climate Tech Season 4. I've never interviewed an artist before, but I think you have to watch this. You're listening to Bite-Sized Climate Tech Season 4. Let's dive in.
Time to make climate cool again.
I'm with Billie. Billie Island. That's your real name.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Rock and roll. I found these super cool origami, and it's made of biochar, right?
Yeah, turned into biochar.
Turned into biochar. She's going to explain to us today how does she make this.
They're composite origami forms. Structurally, lots of trial and error. So only certain papers. So I use waste source of paper, and then fold each composite piece, because I'm a mum and I can do that around family life. And then I construct, these are just prototypes. So these are going to be large scale sculptures. You can kind of go to 6 foot, hopefully, in scale.
What is the process? Do you just make the paper first and then you go through a machine, the pyrolysis?
They're basically cooked, yeah. So in a biochar retort, up to about temperature of 5 to 700 degrees. The material gives off gases and in the process, and that self-fuels the fire. So it's a really efficient way of making carbon. But obviously I'm making a beautiful carbon, not carbon that would be sequestered into the ground.
The original form of paper, right?
So any organic material, hence the rose, can be turned.
But this is a real rose.
Yes. No, that was a real rose, yeah. Yeah, because they're very, very beautiful, and it's amazing that they can withstand those temperatures and come out structurally.
So the biochar that I usually see somewhere else, they're all like squashed into grinded
bags of dust.
Biochar, for those of you who don't know what it is biomass that is heated in the absence of all oxygen. So basically you're burning something without actually burning it. And what happens is it changes from the pellet, then you heat it up without oxygen and it becomes black and becomes a biochar.
I didn't know that can be there. Let's go to this side because you have some more stuff here.
So again, this is another composite structure. You can see the individual. The higher the temperature, the more open spaces that the biochar has in. So the more potential, if you were using it as greenhouse gas removal material, the more potential it has to hold if it's going in soil, nutrients or water. But it doesn't make any difference structurally how hot I go. So if anything, they shrink by about 40%. So this would have been a piece bigger.
Oh, so it shows the process of removing CO2, basically.
Yes, right? Yeah. It just makes biochar beautiful. And, if you think everything is part of the carbon process, it kind of really highlights that life and death kind of scenario. Yeah, these are experimental, because they're talking about using it on farmlands to remove nasty things out of your farm waste runoff, wastewater. So there's lots of talk now about individual farms having sumps with biochar in to drain, the water drains through that and hopefully cleans up the water before it goes into the rivers, because that's obviously a bit contentious at the moment, how dirty and polluted the rivers are. These are just trial pieces using different materials. So this has got like a glue type material with graphite added in and metal composites to structurally hold, which is a failure. Failures are always good because that means we're working stuff out. So yeah,
then some kind. What is the
that again is just paper. That's just paper. Yeah, paper. Yeah.
So you stitch the paper.
Yeah, paper's just folded together.
How long?
Well, the folding takes a while, and then putting it together.
How big is the?
It takes a full-size oil drum. So I can go up to that scale, but I can also go to people locally near me. A farmer and the university have a large scale biochar retort as well, which can go much bigger.
And then you put a tiny thing into the big
No.
machine.
If you want, you can do. I do those in my stove, or I have enough of them. So yeah, but they shrink. So something big shrinks by 30-40%. So yeah, you
And then
do end
let's
up
say
with
you take a whole bunch of roses and other origami.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be careful what you put in, because if something is more fragile than another object in there, it will crush it inside.
So
yeah,
that's science, right? You need to know the
Yeah.
carbon content, the temperature.
Yeah.
How do you decide?
it's just been trial and error for the past 3 or 4 years, kind of understanding different materials and how they turn into carbon, basically.
I'm fascinated by this. I didn't know they can sustain 500. Is it 500 to 700 degrees?
Well, the last burn I did got over 800 degrees. Yeah,
What is the object that you put?
that was one of these actually. Yeah,
Just
so
paper.
yeah,
Oh gosh.
yeah. It was the first time I'd used the big one, and it's
then
like,
the-
oh, it's getting hot.
And then the big one takes how long?
Well, if you think of normal feedstocks are quite heavy, it's either a lot of biomass or it's wood stock. So they'd take longer, but paper takes not, half an hour. Yeah. So, and then the end result, because these are so fragile and they're temporary, they're not going to last forever.
Yeah.
I then turn that work into land artwork. So I then use biochar and make symbols in the ground and have ceremonies around that where we sequester carbon in the ground. Yeah.
Nice.
How would you explain this to an 8-year-old?
I basically do lots of nice origami folding, make an object, put it in a tin like that.
Oh, this is the.
Yeah.
This is the.
Put it in a treacle tin.
Yeah.
So kids can do it at home. Lots of children do it they make charcoal in forest schools and stuff to draw with. It's the same process. So as long as you've got an air hole for it to escape, put it on a roaring fire, leave it for a little bit, and then if it shouldn't smell of anything. Carbon is completely neutral, doesn't smell of anything.
And then you remove the carbon.
Yes.
It's a fun, interesting experiment.
Let's make climate cool again.
Thank you.